he's rich.
Yeah, Bruce runs around with a high-class crowd.
Hello there and welcome to BTAS. This is the podcast where I, Bryan Lomax, and my good buddy here, Clayton from Ages of Film, go through each episode in Batman the Animated Series. On this episode, we are going to be looking at the first Poison Ivy episode, which is called Pretty Poison. So yeah, Clayton, say hello and let us know what your introduction was to this episode. When did you first watch it?
Yeah, so what's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for coming back and joining us for another episode here. Pretty Poison. If you're kind of a casual Batman fan, and I honestly I hope there are some listeners and viewers who are kind of casual fans, so we can hopefully make them bigger fans throughout the series. Poison Ivy may or may not be on your radar. This was, I think, and Brian and I were talking just before this episode, this show was kind of what put her on the map as a villain. You know, she wasn't really in the movies prior to this. She wasn't in the old show prior to this. So this was obviously my introduction to the character since I came to the show as a very little kid. I don't recall, however, what the first Poison Ivy episode was that I remember seeing. I do remember seeing this when I was young, but I couldn't tell you this was the first one I remember seeing as a kid. But as a kid, I liked it. As I watched it more, as I got a little older, there were some issues that started poking out, but I am glad that they at least early in the show gave Poison Ivy, one of those lower tier villains at the time, a chance to kind of shine and be brought to the front. So
yeah, so this was my introduction to Poison Ivy. I've said before, I kind of become acquainted with a lot of the main villains through both this series and the fact that Nightfall was running in the comics around the same time.
Right.
And I remember seeing her in this first, and I'll be perfectly honest, I thought it was a stupid character. I thought it was too much into fantasy land. The whole, plants coming alive, and strangling Batman, and it was just like, what is this? We've got a chick who's like so demented for plants that,
right.
Yeah, even as a kid, I was watching it. I just think, I'm not sure about this woman.
Yeah.
And then I saw her in Nightfall quite soon after, and then realised that, okay, she is an actual Batman villain. It wasn't just some random character they made up for the series. She is actually in the comic books, and I liked her a lot more in the Nightfall story that what we got of her. But I still kind of found a lot of just her powers, her abilities, kind of thing, are just a bit too much into Fantasyland for me. I don't mind that kind of stuff in like Superman and super powered heroes, that kind of thing. But when you bring that stuff into the world of Batman, it always makes me go a little bit more like, I don't know. Like Man-Bat, I could manage because you could see there was a very specific science going on, with genetics and this, that, and the other. It didn't feel so out of the realm of possibility. Whereas this is just like, what exactly are her powers? They're not specifically explained. She can poison people with kisses. She seems to talk to plants. Do the plants
like
obey
plant
her?
telepathy or something?
Yeah, it's just for me it was always just a bit. I think as I became a Batman fan over the years and got more acquainted with Poison Ivy and where she sits in the pantheon of Batman villains, I've probably grown to appreciate this episode a bit more. I also, once Harley hooked up with Ivy later in the series, and their dynamic rubbing off against each other was some comedy gold. It kind of made me have more affection for the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, whether or not this episode improves as a result of that is, well, we'll get into it, I guess, as we go through the episode. But...
And then let me guess, it was Uma Thurman that made you a fan of Poison Ivy, right?
Oh dear. Yeah, that was. Yeah, she has not been served well. It must be said. If there is a definitive version of Poison Ivy out there, I have a feeling she has yet to be seen. I guess most people would say this is the definitive version, or as definitive as you're going to get. But as I say, even so, for me, I have issues with the character. Now, it's not to say there aren't some good Poison Ivy episodes.
Sure.
There are some really good ones.
Agreed.
Yeah, but let's get into this one.
Yep.
And we'll find out where this one sits.
Kind of a mundane screen title card, but
yeah,
they really never do explain her powers. I mean, you're right on that. I mean, it's you're kind of left trying to figure it out on your own.
My fellow citizens, it is with great civic pride that we gather here today to break ground on the new Gotham Penitentiary.
He's just some random nut activist,
Right.
who takes offense specifically to these guys building a prison.
Right.
It's like, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of other greenery in Gotham that's probably been destroyed by multiple people.
Yeah.
Like, why specifically do these guys get targeted?
And she didn't have an accident really or anything here. So it's like, but her lack of concern for the well-being of others just isn't really present to start with. So it's like, I mean, was she always just this crazy? I mean,
yeah, just right from the start, she just comes off as a nutter.
Right.
There's no reason for her actions beyond the fact that, oh, I love plants more than I love humans.
Right.
So, okay, cool.
But I guess as a kid, you're not really concerned with that. You're just wanting something fun.
It's like, I mean, like in the first season, we get two-part episodes where we have the origin of Two-Face and we have the origin of Clayface. So if you're a villain that ends with the word face, then you get a two-part episode origin story, and they work really well.
They do.
They're
really
both
do.
very good origin stories because they flesh out those characters in a big way. Whereas here, like, everyone knows Joker. We know we didn't need to see his origin. We could go straight into Christmas with the Joker and know exactly who this guy is because everybody knows Joker's origin.
Right.
But when you're dealing with a character like Poison Ivy, where this is her first episode, and literally, unless you are a diehard comic book fan, you have never heard of this woman.
No.
I hadn't heard of her when I first watched this episode.
Yeah, me either.
And it's like, there's nothing. There's no backstory, really. It's just a vengeance plot by some wacky plant lady who has these powers that go completely unexplained.
Pour monsieur, Caesar salad.
Thank you, Andre. I'm starving. Let's eat.
Size of Harvey Dent's chin.
I was gonna say, I was seeing the same thing, dude. Like, I forgot how big his chin is, like Jay Leno or something. Like look at that thing. It's like the size of an Easter island. It's huge.
So we get the two-part Two-Face origin story not so long after this. I think we've got a few episodes coming up, and then we do have the Two-Face two-parter.
And I love that Two-Face two-parter.
I do. I absolutely love it. The psychology in it is great.
Yes.
But just that's a cool shot when I'm running a thing. So the animation always works really well in this episode, in this series, when they do perspectives of things whilst movement is happening. When you stay on a character that's moving and then the perspective behind them is like moves with them, the depth of it always looks really good. But yeah, the Two-Face episode, when we get to that, it's established that Harvey has a fiance, and part of the whole emotional through line in that two-parter is how becoming Two-Face affects that relationship with his fiance. And that's not too far away from now. And yet here we've got him cavorting with Pamela Isley. Like,
he's a ladies' man, dude.
yeah. Like, but are we supposed to assume that in what, the space of a few episodes, he finds another woman and gets well, I mean, he does propose marriage to Pamela Isley after a week, so maybe it's not too far out of the realm of possibility.
Maybe that's his thing, you know. This is Gotham. Crazy things happen.
May I recommend the trout almondine?
I'll give it a try, Alfred.
Wise decision, sir.
Wise decision, sir. Alfred still talking to himself while the car drives away.
I do like how they brought back some of the Poison Ivy and Two-Face dynamic in Almost Got 'Em. You know, they you know, kind of continued that.
Yeah, they recognize that there's a history there.
Right.
And,
yes, that's it.
yeah,
Exactly.
They don't just forget
Ignore
that this
it,
stuff
right.
happened. Yeah.
What do you think?
Does she have a sister?
Nope. Pam's one of a kind.
I like the voice acting of the Harvey Dent Two-Face character. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, and he gets particularly good in that two-parter.
Yeah. It was the same guy, right? They didn't get two actors. They
no,
got
same guy does both. He just drops it a few octaves, and
it's really good.
Yeah, the way he switches.
Yeah.
Between Harvey and Big Bad Har.
Right.
Like, yeah.
And I do like that they made Harvey and Bruce friends. I thought, you know, it adds to that relationship and rivalry.
Harvey, you just met her last week.
And I already know she's the one.
I'm glad that they do spend the time with Harvey and establishing him as this character, so that when the transformation happens, because obviously we had him in the Man Bat episode, the pilot episode.
Right.
He's there tossing his coin and stuff. And then we get him back here and we clearly see the two of them are friends.
Right.
Splat straight into his pudding.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like the continuity there of building him up as someone who is meaningful in Bruce's life.
Right. And for people who are wondering how, you know, where that comes from, if it was comic book or not, Harvey Dent Two-Face debuted in 1940 in the Batman title line, but and they I think if I remember right, Bruce, he respected Harvey, but they weren't like friends to my if my memory serves me right. I don't think they were like. I think that concept actually came from the series, if I'm not mistaken, but his history goes a while back. I know some people think that he just came in the series, but he was there from 1940.
He's one of the earliest Batman villains. Back from the beginning. But there's been multiple points in the comic books where they did establish the fact that there was more of a personal relationship there between.
That's true.
Between Bruce and Harvey. Harvey Bullock running back for his donut.
Yeah, I love Bullock, man.
They play it twice though in this episode. I think once was funny, but twice feels strained.
Right.
And I don't like Gordon in this episode as well. He feels a bit too
a little flat.
Just like, I don't know. He just feels weak in this episode. What's the word? Where
he just feels like he's giving orders, but he's not really functional.
Yeah, you know? like he's fretting. It just feels like he's fretting. He's just flapping. He's flapping about. He's doing a lot of flapping, but not actually getting anything done. And the detective work in this episode by the police is really feeble. It's really pathetic.
It's very weak.
It's like Bruce has to go to the doctor that's looking at the samples and stuff and take it. Meanwhile, the police are letting Harvey Bullock just rip into the chef from the restaurant and like, what was in your stew? And all that.
It's like, that's the extent of your detective work.
Yeah.
So what did you put in this mousse? Chocolate, sugar, eggs, cream, strychnine.
I mean, it's funny and everything because it's Bullock, but it's just
right. He's just a bully to everybody. it almost makes you wonder where Bruce got his detective training from, because it certainly wasn't from Gotham. It's like detective work in Gotham is very shallow.
It is a lethal poison derived from the plant Rosa Ci vularis.
What do you think though of like the concept of Poison Ivy's character? Do you think like it could work if it was done, if it was maybe handled a little better to begin with, or do you just think the concept just doesn't fit in general?
I think some of the concept works, but I think you have to tone her down a bit. And I think, like, particularly in comic books in recent years, she's become way OP.
Yes.
So overpowered, it just becomes a bit like if she wanted to, she could wipe out Gotham like that.
Oh, for sure.
Just bring all plant life, just come up through the streets and just nail everyone. So it's that stuff to me. It's when like more writers come on and they always have to build on what other writers have done before, and they always take it to the extreme.
Right.
What I do is I'd pare her down. I'd pare her right back. And I'd make maybe keep the fact that she's got a toxin kind of thing about her. So she'd keep the plant theme.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't have this super control of plants where she can have them coming up out the ground. She'd have the poison kiss maybe, and a certain poisonous touch about her that comes from various plant toxins that she's soaked up in her body. But then I'd leave it there, just leave it at that. And,
that's always been my thought. I feel like they could keep with, you know, the whole poison concept, the poison and chemical from plants, but drop the whole telepathic plant control stuff.
And the eco terrorist side of her as well. Keep that makes sense. But just tone down those powers. Stop having her actually talking to trees.
Right. Because then it also just becomes very inconsistent and hard to keep up with, because one panel she could be doing this crazy stuff, but then the next panel she's like, it's like she's totally forgotten her powers, and so it's hard to maintain that kind of consistency through a Batman kind of universe, you know. Because Batman's villains have always been more grounded. Usually. I mean, you have
his best ones are.
Yes.
Again, I think it comes down to what kind of Batman you like.
Right.
And I think obviously me and you, we like the grounded Batman. That's why I like the mob boss villains, and I like I like Joker episodes that feel a lot more grounded, a lot more down to earth. And Two-Face, great villain.
Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. Just I love those kind of villains. I love the grounded ones.
Me too.
Because at the end of the day, Batman is human. And yes, he's a human who has taken himself to the absolute peak of what a human being can be and do. But he's still human. And I think once he starts going up against these really fantastical characters, it just takes away from what he is, really, which is a man going up against other men and women.
A little big for a fly.
We get to see at some point in this that she's 5'2".
Really? I did not catch that.
Yeah. I think it might be on the police, might be on the lineup photo at the end or something, but
interesting.
Or it was on Batman's computer maybe when he was looking up who Pamela Isley, and you see that she's 5'2".
Huh.
So.
Batman, a late night rendezvous? To what do I owe the honor?
See, the whole plant coming to life and control thing, I'm just I don't know that it fits, you know, when you've established more of a grounded type of world.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it's animation, so you kind of have some leeway there, but
it's just the moment you want to translate that to a live action film. It's like, where else can you go other than Batman and Robin? And you literally get this in Batman and Robin, this big fly trap thing.
And you almost feel like, I mean, as bad as Batman and Robin was, you almost feel like that's kind of the world that Poison Ivy has to be translated to if you're going to translate her into a live action.
She either has to be, if you're going to do her the way she is in the comic books, you either have to do her like Batman and Robin, or you have to turn her into a full-on horror character.
Afraid I have cooties?
But there's just not much character here. Like, she's cackling away there and stuff, and it's like... Yeah. It is literally just, oh, I love plants more than people.
Right. And we never find out what she did to make the plants animated.
Yeah.
You know, like they're just kind of already there.
It's all just, oh, she's a botanist.
Yeah.
Okay. A really flipping good one from the look of it.
Right. She just randomly found a way to bring plants to life and animation, you know?
Yeah.
But...
And a monologuing is quite insufferable in this.
Yeah.
Where she's standing there going, like a child. Just, come on.
Yeah. See, the poison kiss that concept is a good idea. You can kind of play with that.
Yeah.
And there's stuff you can do with her obsession for plants.
And there's definitely like a feminist kind of angle that you can take with the character.
Right.
Because there is the fact that she's super hot and turns guys' heads.
Right.
And yet if they kiss her, they're dead.
Right.
Like that's, you know, that's a setup for a horror movie right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless you tape your lips like Robin did. But
rubber lips are immune to your charms.
Oh, gotta love it.
Poor Chris O'Donnell. He had to say that line.
I feel like he was the only one trying to take it serious too.
I do love this bit in a minute when Poison Ivy ends up shooting her own plant with a crossbow.
Right.
There she goes.
And it freaks out. It's like the Thing, man. It's the Thing from the Thing.
Yeah.
Now, was Batman in the water when that electricity? Because he just got a lot of volts of electricity going through him. If that was the case,
he popped one of his anti-electricity bat pills before he.
He's always got something in his belt.
I'm not going alone. The bottle for the weed.
He calls a rose a weed.
Right.
Do you know nothing about botanical stuff?
I was like, come on, Batman. I'd expect your intelligence to be a little bit higher than that.
My precious baby.
I saw this back in the day and I just thought, sorry, this character's stupid.
Yeah.
It just...
Well, then she also, the other problem that she has is that once you learn her weakness, it's like her obsession with plants. Like Batman can do so much with that. Like once you learn that, it's like, okay, I mean, how do we really make her a threat now? Without getting too fantastical, you know, with the character.
They can bury me in the ground as deep as they like, but I'll grow back.
Why is she in Blackgate?
She's
clear front runner for Arkham.
Right. Why is she not in Arkham? Maybe Arkham was full or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, with the rate at which people escape,
right?
I don't think so.
It's true. Gotham is just deplorable.
So yeah, I mean, I think I've said it enough throughout, but I don't think it's a great episode, to be honest. It doesn't serve the character well, especially given that it's her first episode. Right. If you're someone who's got no clue that Poison Ivy is an actual Batman villain, you're going to come to this and be like, who is she?
Right.
Why is she? Why is she? What? Where does she get those powers from? Like nothing is explained, and her motives are just so tenuous, so weak. Like oh, a bunch of politicians and a district attorney dug up a load of plants to make way for a prison.
Yeah.
And 5 years later, after harboring